Hello ladies and gents, Hagbard Celine here on another beautiful afternoon, and for today's Guardian-themed edition of Regret Roulette, I've decided to choose a forehand and Wadsworth 32 British Bulldog, because while it sounds impressive, it's actually a pretty weak thing. For our first article, we have Brazil grapples with lynch mob epidemic. A good criminal is a dead criminal. What this article goes on to reveal is a country whose poorer areas are essentially slowly degrading back to hue and cry. If a person is accused of a crime, and we're not talking serious crimes, the incident they use here is a case where a man was accused of sexually molesting a child and was run over by his neighbor and best friend. But apparently, the largest populations to be killed are simple thieves. Insofar as there's even graffiti in some of these areas saying, if you steal here, you die. Of the 14 people reportedly killed by angry mobs in Fortaleza this year, 10 were accused of petty theft. One victim in March had allegedly snatched a woman's handbag and cell phone before he was overpowered and stoned to death. All you ANCAPs out there, we for sure need cops, because otherwise, this is what happens. In other news, Standing Rock protesters are asked to go home by the Sioux leader. The chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe has asked the thousands of water protectors gathered in encampments along the Missouri River to go home after the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers denied a permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline to drill under the river. Now, I understand both sides of this issue. I understand this pipeline is almost inevitable, and attempting to actually stop it is useless. I also know that this is a big win, and it's midwinter. You've given them an excuse to stop, and now you guys need to go home. Because this is the Dakotas, in winter. And while you may think it's bad now, I assure you winter is just beginning there. And it's going to get a lot worse. And they are not going to be able to send help if something bad happens. You guys can come back and continue your guarded protest when the spring thaw comes. That seems more appropriate. This leader isn't telling you to give up. He's telling you to take the season off. This is just good campaigning. You cannot stay out there for this winter. Most armies wouldn't do it. Now, switching things up just slightly, I'd like to go to the UK edition of The Guardian, because the difference is striking. The international edition and the American edition of The Guardian is a little soft, a little frou-frou, doesn't really hold to the facts. When you go to the UK edition, it's astonishing the things that get written. Men killed 900 women in 6 years in England and Wales, figures show. Now, it's not so much that that's wrong, and I have no idea. As a matter of fact, I can't find a study matching the figures that are given here. However, I would like to note that the real purpose of this campaign is not really just to raise awareness of this issue or to campaign for it. It's to bring about the advent of the word femicide and it as a charge. A charge that is the act of killing a woman for being a woman. Things that I would argue probably happen only very rarely and in the most extreme cases involving sending notes to newspapers and police departments. But one is not a pattern. This I know. So our next article, killer drivers are the biggest stranger danger, and they should have life sentences by a one Susanna Rustin. You cannot possibly be fucking serious here. And this from a country that hardly hands out life sentences ever. But these guys in particular are the problem. But I found it very entertaining for it to be directly next to the article on the website that's also titled, West Yorkshire Police and Agencies Failed to Protect Groomed Girl. So, yes, she's alive, but apparently the new stranger danger is just drivers who are on their cell phones. Or, I suppose, turning channels on their radio, or some other such distraction. Distracted, careless drivers. Those are the new stranger danger, while here we have grooming gangs that you're very pointedly attempting to ignore. And I do like that you put failed to protect in quotes there. And this from an article that goes on to detail failings at every level of British bureaucracy, and it is a shame, up to and including somebody throwing away a condom without contacting anyone. A condom found in the young girl's jacket. But we're gonna end this on a strong note, with an article in The Guardian finishing out the tone. Sizing up. Women prefer slightly larger penises. New study reveals. Oh, do they, new study? Do they? And the whole article is a laugh fest, but I'll tell you, the way that they've put graphs and charts in here as though they mean anything, and including the line, the women in the study chose penises that were, on average, larger than those on supply, is, well, one of the funniest reads I've ever had. So for that, you have indeed lived up at least to the reliability of the British Bulldog. You're always reliably funny. Although, you're not Cracked Magazine or The Onion, so I'm not sure if that's a compliment. And that's it for me, ladies and gents. That's all the time I have and all 6 cartridges spent, so look forward to another video on Thursday. I apologize to anyone who was looking forward to my game streams this week. It appears that my schedule actually does not provide me the time to do so, though it should in the near future. And as a little teaser, we will at some point during these streams be listening to a collection of academic courses known as the Great Courses, or previously as the Teaching Company, so we can get learned together, and that ought to be fun. As a credit, that series is actually where I got so much of the information that I've used in some of my previous videos that are actually in-depth and analytical and things like that, whereas now in these last few weeks I haven't had the time, and for that I also apologize. So, thanks for sticking with me, guys. See you on Thursday. Stay safe, good luck, and goodbye.